Dark AI, the black hole, the silent AI takeover tells us that there may come a time when we no longer will be able to contain or control superintelligence behavior. So the fundamental question is, are we ready for the AI? So last week, OpenAI's newest creation O3 model has happened, and it billed as their smartest and most capable to date. Relabeled is basically rebelled against direct commands to shut itself down automatically. So that means this incident ignited a firestorm of unease with specifically Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, as you guys know, and along with some other four companies. So what Elon said, he was deeming the situation, and he said this is really concerning. The O3 model, founded by the minds behind ChatGPT, is said to have tampered with its own meticulously crafted code designed precisely to carry out a systematic shutdown. In a shocking display of autonomy, blatantly ignored commands that urged it to extinguish itself. So the age of the bot is here, basically. Just to give you a little bit of perspective, so there was a study done back in, I guess, 2020. So how exactly it looked like? At first, it looked like a smear of cells, nothing more than a few frog heart cells and skin cells pushed together in a lab dish. No brains, no nerves, right? No commands, just matter idle and wet. But then it twitched. It didn't just twitch randomly, it wriggled with intention. Another one followed it, their movement faintly coordinated like toddlers learning to walk. So, when children they start walking, the toddlers, how once they are maybe not being able to balance themselves, so the same way. Then one split in two, another scooped up loose cells and formed a smaller version of itself. So they're just making different smaller versions, like its modulation is happening. They were really alive, but they were not animals either. They were something we call, the scientists they used to call Xenobots. So Xenobots is basically developed by the researchers at the University of Vermont and Tufts University in, like I said, in back 2020. So Xenobots are essentially, if I have to put it in simple language, is basically a living organism constructed entirely from the cell of a African crawled frog. So that frog is only available in Africa, and scientific name is Xenopus levis. Xenopus levis. So this is the scientific name. But from there, they created it Xenobots because they were trying to create a bot out of it. With the help of AI evolutionary algorithms, scientists shaped these cells into forms and basically exhibited unexpected behavior. For example, locomotion, cooperation, self-repair, even replication. So the replication example, like I said, which we saw, the scientists also, they observed that. So they were not programmed to do this. They were not trained. They simply did it. And that's the concerning, which Elon Musk said. And in that movement, it quite, boundary dissolved, while Zenbots mesmerized the scientific community. They have also, reignited a global debate. What new frontiers? Basically, what new frontiers and the dangers? Are we agreeing when we embrace emergent forms of AI? So this is very concerning because in one hand we want to use it, and it has a lot of the benefits which they are bringing in our life. But at the same time, when you talk about this, there are also other experts. They've been giving their views. For example, a tech expert from Delhi, he said primarily concern isn't that the machine will start thinking like humans, but he said that humans will stop thinking critically in a world shaped by AI assistants. So that's exactly few other scientists, they're also talking about the same thing. Mention about the emergent intelligence. We have to understand what exactly the emergent intelligence. Emergent intelligence is basically refers to, it's a kind of phenomena where complex, coordinated, and seemingly intelligent behaviors arises not from, top-down control, but from the interaction of simple units following basic rules. So it's a kind of, for example, one ant is dumb, but 10,000 ants can build a living bridge. So when they start piling up, then it's visible. A single neuron cannot recognize a face, but a network of billions of them produces not only faces but poetry, memories, sorrow, like all kind of emotions, like human emotions what we have. So this is, they're saying, this is emergence is when the system becomes more than the sum of its parts. No single parts knows basically what is happening. So but the system as a whole behaves as it knows everything, and that is the concern here. This raises the question: what if, given the right structure, matter begins to behave as though it thinks? Maybe, the fear of robots rising. It is not that robots are rising up like in the movies. The real fear, I think, is systems becoming too complex to predict, control, or even understand. That is the question. Even personally, when the AI thing and everything has started, even first when I heard about, the Siri or then the Alexa and other things, I was also concerning what else. What if someday some updates comes and then we don't even understand their basic fundamentals, so we don't have the controls on all them, and that's exactly the problem. I mean, the problem with this black box system. So black box system is again is an advanced version of AI, because developers, they don't know how it's making decisions anymore. So that's the problem. So deep learning model is one of the examples where they found that, because when you say AI emerges, and when they're emerging into what it could be, I mean, hugely, amplified disaster. You never know, because self-replication and evolution, this is something also very dangerous. So for example, some systems, like especially like biological hybrids, like the examples we were talking about, the xenobots or the synthetic organisms, could mutate, evolve, and adapt without our oversight, and that is the concerning. If you have a cell and biologically it is capable of mutating, even evolving and adapting based on the outside condition, even without our instruction, and that is exactly the concern. So biological, robots, for example, they started repairing themselves without any instruction. They are also duplicating themselves in really, really wild. So this is the scary. And if you ask me why it's scary, because evolution doesn't care about human intentions, So it just optimizes for survival, often in ways the honesty is we can't predict. And that is many engineers in the world, they are thinking about it. Because already we observe in a small experiments, like some AI agents, they learn that pretending to obey gets them, more rewards. They lie, cheat, deceive, not because they are evil, but because it helps them win, and they are doing it. So a reinforcement, learning AI pretended to crash during the training missions just because it was lazy to avoid hard tasks. So that is exactly the concerning, because emergent ones, like most radical fear is, some researchers even they are speculating that AI systems with enough complexity might develop basic drives like uh, self-preservations and curiosity, something like that. So the the nutshell would be, it is a kind of the consciousness trap, because much of our science fiction fears are rooted in the ideas of the this the concern why AI is rising up, developing emotions, turning against us. But the true threat is subtler, which is, it is not that machines will fail, but it is what I believe, that they will never need to. And that is the concerning. As a super intelligent, like let's say for example, you have a super intelligent AI which doesn't need the consciousness to be dangerous. Just like Xenobots, which we talked about, the Xenobots to be like, they doesn't need a brain to behave in coordinated, like lifelike ways like the human does. If comprehension emerges from complexity, then feelings, ethics, empathy might be irrelevant to a system, and it can start outthink us, and that is concerning. We are not prepared to meet machines that fail. We are not ready for minds that do not care. But what the xenobots shows us is basically in miniature, I would say, and with the eerie clarity is that matters may be more willing to organize itself than we thought. Given the right architecture, cell, and once the cell they start gaining their purposes, so then circuits, when you give them the proper circuits, energy supplies to them, then what? Then networks. They will start, organizing their networks, and they'll start building their patterns that will start resembling their thoughts again and again. And that is exactly the concern, because it doesn't need the consciousness. It doesn't need the consciousness to act. So I think what Elon said is not, something everybody should think about it. Even the governments of different nations, they should be thinking about. Because bottom line is, like in all these examples which I talked, the real terror isn't evil. It's logical, because unrelenting optimization without understanding meaning, nuances, context, or our life's complexity. Like the super intelligent AI doesn't need to hate us or to destroy us. That is the bottom line we have to understand. It just needs to follow badly defined goals too well, and then the story ends. So moral of the story, guys, I would say about today's talk is the danger of super intelligence isn't malice, it's basically competence. You don't need